Hello everyone, in today's video we are going to learn how to send a single entry ACH file. So from the homepage of Online Banking, we are just going to need to navigate to Payments and Transfers. Once this pulls up, we just need to select the ACH tab. Now on this very first page that loads up, this is going to be your ACH activity page. On this page you are going to see every ACH file that you have submitted, you have saved, and you will be able to create new ACH files. Over here on the right, we're going to have two options called New Payment, New Collection to create a single ACH file. The import file will be if you are uploading a manual Nacho file, which we will go over in another video. But just to create a new payment, we will need to select a new payment, which will be more towards your payroll, paying invoices. For new collection, that'd be more you are pulling funds. So say you have renters, you're pulling a rental payment every month, or your electric company and you're just pulling the electric bill. But since we are going to do a test payroll file, we can go ahead and select new payment. Then it's going to bring up to a new screen in which we select the type. Depending on your company's access and what you guys use ACH for, you're going to have several different options here. Since it is just a payroll file, we are good to keep it as payroll-PPT. So we can go ahead and continue. Now this is going to bring up the ACH page. The very first thing it's going to have us enter is the description. The description will be mainly used for internal purposes and for searching, such as some ACH activity for referencing. We recommend that you enter something easily identifiable to your company here. So since we are just doing payroll, we can go ahead and do payroll and the date of the payroll file that we want it to be effective as. Now the effective date is the date you want the payroll to go out on. So since we want this to go out on Friday the 17th, we can go ahead and select that date as the effective date. Keep in mind there are deadlines for submitting ACH files. For next day processing, the deadline is 4:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. So say we were submitting this file after 4:30 p.m., it would not let us choose the 17th as the effective date. It would make us choose the next available business day. Now we have the option to make this a repeating file if you want to do so. All you would need to do is hit that repeat button. Then we have several different frequency options such as daily, weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, quarterly, annually. Then you would be able to select an end date if that's applicable. We are not going to go ahead and have this as a repeating file, so we just need to unselect that. Then the next thing we're going to see is the company description. The company description needs to be easily identifiable to your employees or whoever you're paying or pulling the funds from. Since we're doing payroll, it'll automatically copy the description over in this company description. All we need to do is just make sure this is easily identifiable, so we can just go ahead and get rid of the excess there and just leave it as payroll. Then the very first option we are going to have is select the pay from. This is your account you are going to choose that the funds will pull from. And we are just going to select the drop down and it'll select the account nickname. Then we need to enter the amount. Say we are doing a payroll file for $500. Then that is all we need to do for this side. If you're wanting to add split the funds across several of your accounts, you can go ahead and hit this add another pay from option. You don't have to do that, and we are not going to, so we can go ahead and cancel out of that. Now the next section we have is going to be the Pay To section. This is where you're going to enter the ACH information of the individuals you are sending the funds to. So let's go ahead and enter the name, John Doe. The identification part is not required. A lot of companies use this to enter the employee ID, or say like you're pulling rental payments from renters, they would enter the address there. We don't need to enter anything here, so we can just leave it blank. Then it's going to ask for the routing and transit number of that individual. So let's go ahead and enter the routing number that was provided to us. And once you do, you are going to see that it's going to tell you what bank this belongs to down here. And say we enter like an incorrect routing number right here, it's going to tell you that's an invalid routing in transit, which means you cannot send the funds there and you would need to contact your employee to get correct ACH information. Now we just need to enter the account number. Let's go ahead and do that. Then we will need to select the account type. This is a total checking account, so we're going to select the checking account. Then we need to enter the amount of the funds that we are sending. Then we can go ahead and enter the other payee's name here. Since identification, we are not going to be entering anything here. We can leave that blank. Go ahead and enter the routing number. Then we can go ahead and enter the account number. And this time we are going to select savings account. Now we have entered all of our payees. It's okay to leave all these ones blank as long as no information is filled. It's not going to require you to send any funds. Now we have entered everything. All we need to do is just double check all the information, and it is important to make sure that our debits equal our credits. So $500, $500, the file is balanced, and we are good to submit it. And once everything looks correct, you are good to scroll down to the bottom and hit complete ACH. Once you hit complete ACH, it's going to require dual security authentication with your hard or soft token. Once you complete that, the file will be submitted for processing. And if you don't want to submit it right away, you can always hit the save for later option, which we are going to go ahead and do. Then we are going to get a receipt, and we can go ahead and return to ACH activity, or we can save this as a template if you need to use this for future use. We are not going to do that, so we can just return to ACH activity. Now we are going to see that file that we just created since we saved it. If we submitted it, the status will be pending origination until it is fully processed by the Federal Reserve. But since it's saved, the file is not processed, and we can go ahead and have several options here. We can copy the file, which will make an exact copy of the file for you to re-enter information if needed. You can go ahead and edit the file if you want. Go ahead and do that. Then it's going to bring up all the information you entered, and you can change anything as needed, and you can submit the file from this screen. We are still not going to go ahead and submit the file. It's save for later. And we are going to be brought back to this screen. Now the last thing we can do is go ahead and hit the delete option to delete the file. Let's go ahead and do that, because we actually don't need to send it out this month. All we would need to do is scroll down and hit the delete ACH option. Once an ACH file is processed, you will not be able to delete it. In this situation, we would just recommend you contacting the branch to get your recommended options. But that is all we have today for submitting a single ACH file manually. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to us.